Welcome back to Let's Make a Game, a channel about making computer role-playing games using the free program Twine and the Sugarcube format for Twine. So in my last video I talked a little bit about tags, how to set them up, change what you've done, and use them as basically an aid to your memory for marking off particular types of passage. In this video, I'm going to talk very quickly about how you can use them to have actual effects in the program which the player can see. So I have a simple page here, and it says this page has a black background and white text, and there's a link to another page, and if I click that, it says this page has a white background and black text, which doesn't look as good because it doesn't change the color of the arrows over here. But that's okay because it's just for demonstration purposes. And I've done this with a combination of tags and CSS. CSS is a, well, in Twine it's treated as a sort of special page. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, where you can define particular things about the look of every page by default. So you can say, well, I want to have this color background or this image as the background, and I want the text to be like this, and so on. But you can also use tags with CSS so that the stuff you specify only applies to particular pages. And of course, this is useful if you want to have two or more types of layout. And obviously this is a very simple example, but you could make it more complicated. You could have a different background image for different areas of the setting of the game, for example, or when you're doing different things, you could have a different background for when you're in combat as opposed to when you're exploring, as opposed to when you're, doing something else. So the principle is the same as what I've done here. So let's have a look at the code that allows this to happen. It's fairly straightforward. As usual, this code, I'll just zoom in a little bit. As usual, this code is available for download at the itch.io page, which is linked in the description of this video. So as you can see, I've got two passages, white on black, black on white, and I have created two tags. B on W, or actually it puts dashes in automatically to make a sort of continuous bit of text. So B-on-W and W-on-B. As you can see, it would be more logical to make the colors black and white, of course, but black and white are not available. So I had to choose blue and red. And what happens in the style sheet section. So you go to story up here and then style sheet, and just next to that one. So I've got two specifications here that are to do with the main window, and then two specifications here which, as you can see, require a slightly more complicated layout, I guess. They require slightly more. That's for the sidebar. So if you just did these, you would get the main window being different colors, but then the sidebar would stay the default, which of course might be what you want, but these two will allow you to change the sidebar. All right, so this is just a normal CSS layout, as we've talked about occasionally in different videos. All we've done is we go body, and then we've got this dot B-on-W, and then we have the curly brackets as usual, and the specifications of what happens within that that parameter. So if we didn't have this bit like that, that would just be a normal CSS command, which would tell us that the body of the page, the main page, is to have a black color, which means the color of the text, and a white background color. Remember that There's a list of colours that you can use, which includes all the common ones like black and white and red and yellow, etc. And some uncommon ones. You can also specify it using hexadecimal if you want to get more specific. So something like, if I wanted a particular, I think that might be yellow because that's red and green and then a tiny bit of blue, but etc. But if you want just a sort of very straightforward color, it's usually in the list of colors that that Twine and HTML in general can recognize, and certainly black and white are. And then I've done the same thing with W-on-B, just that the colors are the opposite. And so these two together will say that when we have a passage which has this tag, we're to do this, which means set the background color to white and the text color to black. And when we have a page that has this tag, do this. So doing it for the sidebar is a little bit more, there's a little bit more layout required. We go body, square bracket, data dash tags, tilde equals. This character here, on most keyboards, it's next to the 1. So you have a row of, usually you'll have a row of numbers at the top of your keyboard, and then to the left of that, you'll have a key which, if you do shift, will give you that tilde, that wiggly line. And then quote the name of the tag, and then we specify that it is to be the hashtag UI-bar, which is the sidebar, basically. UI stands for user interface, bar stands for sidebar, and then we have the curly brackets, and then we have the same format as we're using up here. And then I just have exactly the same thing, except when the tag is white on black, we use the opposite colors. And you can do, using this basic format, you can make any change that you would make without tags. You can make that change, but assign it to only a specific tag, only passages that have a specific tag. And that's how you do that. As I said, you can download that from the itch.io link if you want to sort of remember the exact format. In my next video, I'll probably be getting back to my main project, the ongoing project of coding the combat system for a viewer's game, but I will leave it there for now. I hope that was useful or interesting to at least some of you, and I hope you will tune in next time.